This will be a demo of the what I call the iCW interface, primarily being used as a code practice oscillator. That's the CPO label. This is in its simplest form, no enclosure at all, no internal speaker since there's no enclosure. Strictly the assembled board with the 4 pots for setting different volumes and the drive level to the sound card. The primary purpose of this is to allow you to hook up a external key or keyer or both and key this board as if you were keying a transmitter. And in fact, you can also key the transmitter at the same time and connect the audio output from this, which is a clean, well-shaped CW SIDETONE, to the sound card of a computer, to the line input preferably. Mic inputs could be used if the level were cut down enough. Line level inputs are much better for this purpose. But then by running the free program CWGet, you can decode your sending, whether it's from a straight key or a bug or a keyer. So this is the top control panel of the assembly. I'll be turning it around in a moment to show the actual input and output connectors. And right now I've got it set up with 2 input key sources. They both come into this connector up here, which on the other side you'll see the label that it's labeled for key in. And then there is an output connector cable going to the sound card, that guy. And the next one is the DC input, which is a 5.5/2.1 millimeter coaxial DC connector with the center contact positive. And the next connector over there is the external speaker. So this is the external speaker right here, and this unused jack here is for external headphones. There's a slightly different level output. The external speaker is a mono connection and the headphones are stereo. So you can listen with either an external speaker like the MFJ 281, which is what I have hooked up. Let me see if I can get that in here. So there's bright light from the window, but there's the MFJ speaker, which is an excellent speaker for this sort of use. So there are 4 pots here, no knobs. Like I say, this is going to be bare bones, the minimum amount you can use, make reasonable use of. So there are 4 pots. The one up here at the upper left, labeled ST, is the local SIDETONE volume. So if I key down, and it's always hard to tell in the recording when I've got the proper level, but I hope that's reasonable. The one below it, which is labeled iCW, would only be used if you were using it with the Internet CW mumble server. Then you would have one more audio cable coming into this jack that's not used here, the empty jack there, and that would be the input received signal from the other people connected to the server, and this bottom control would control the volume for that. I'm not hooked up with mumble, I'm only hooked up to demonstrate how this is used with CWGet. The one over here is the tone control. And the range is roughly 600 to 750 hertz, with the analog portions of this optimized for roughly 640 hertz. And this next control up here is the drive level to the sound card. At maximum it puts out about 3 volts peak to peak, and with CWGet it's not very critical, but we'll see the level displayed on CWGet in a little bit. And I'm going to try to turn this around and over this way and see if I can get it show up here. Might have trouble getting the camera positioned. Let me see if I can get that. Okay, starting to come into focus. So there you can see the labels. The key input jack there has two inputs coming in on a Y adapter. So one is from the hand key and one is from the paddle keyer. Come on, let's get back into focus again. It doesn't want to auto focus this time. I will try to manually adjust that. See which way I need to go here. Okay, there we are. So you can see the iCW input jack, which is an 1/8" stereo jack, no cable coming in because we're not using that. The iCW out jack is also a stereo 1/8". The DC connector is a 5.5/2.1 millimeter. Then the speaker and phone jacks are also 1/8". Speaker is mono, phone jack is stereo, and then the RCA output jack for key out. Now, this is the first prototype for this project where I used a hypermite filter and I plugged it in, so you might be able to see if I can get this. The hypermite is plugged in. The original order was only for 3 boards, the lowest cost product from Express PCB, and I'm working on a new layout where the hypermite circuitry will all be down on my circuit board, so the filter will not be plugged in, it will be an integral part, and that's due to the kind permission of NM0S, the designer of the hypermite, who allowed me to integrate his circuit into my keyer and this interface projects. So I'm going to stop this here and see whether it's recording reasonably well at all. And if I haven't made too big a mess of it so far, then I'll pick back up actually sending CW and looking at it on CWGet. And see if I can get that in here. That's where I just sent the test from W5UXH, and that was with the paddle keyer. So the hand key will be much worse. I haven't sent on a hand key in 50 years other than playing around like this. And I think when I sent the word hand key, or the word key, I thought the Y sounded pretty awful, but CWGet still decoded that Y okay. When I did the DE W5UXH, I did not leave enough space between the DE and my call. When I tried to send AR, I clearly messed it up. I definitely heard that, and then I repeated it. And it looks like whatever I happened to send came out as some foreign thing with a backwards R and an E, and then the SK. So this does work pretty well. It shows the effective speed, and it shows I was running about 18 words a minute on the hand key. And I'll go back and use the paddle at higher speed. So let's see if we've got that. So I sent some more V's and then the word test, and did not leave a space enough between the last V and the test. And then on paddle at 35 words per minute from my call, and again not enough space between that and the AR and then the SK. So this CWGet actually does a very good job of analyzing your sending for you. And so if you have any sort of a source that you can generate a clean sidetone, the clean is just because it's much nicer than a nasty sounding one, feed it into the sound card. CWGet is very useful for this. This particular interface is quite functional for that. It's not the simplest possible interface, but it's about the best one I can come up with that supports all the functions I want, which includes operating the Internet CW mumble. So, if I did not stop this recording, I'll stop it now and hope maybe that's a good enough a take that I don't have to try to do this again.